This is Paul, GearHeadWorks. Today we have our Kriss Vector SDP pistol here. We're going to be installing the adapter to be able to mount the Tailhook Mod 1 to the factory folding Kriss arm. Now, as you may have seen, we offer adapters, and the adapters are a machined aluminum piece, which we'll show here in a minute, and it fits inside the arm, and then we trim off the bottom part of the arm to give room here for your forearm to go into the gun when you shoot it. So we're going to be going step by step, showing how to install it all. So here's the basic tools that you're going to need to complete the installation for the do-it-yourself Tailhook Mod 1 adapter installation onto the Kriss factory arm. You're going to need an Allen wrench to remove the factory buttstock. You're going to need a drill bit. It's a 5/32 drill bit to be able to drill out for the roll pin. You're going to need a deburr tool of some kind, a sandpaper, a razor knife or something. There's some extra plastic flashing on the inside that we'll show you here in a minute. You need a hammer to drive the roll pin and a saw to cut off the extra part of the arm that you don't need. Of course, be safe, don't poke your eye out. So here we have a Kriss factory buttstock assembly. It's an entire assembly, consists of the buttstock, the folding arm, and the hinge pin. First thing you gotta do is take your Allen wrench, remove all 4 set screws that are here. Now we've already done it on this one. Just take those screws all the way out, you won't need them anymore. This will slide out. Once this is slid out, this is trash, you don't need it anymore. This is your tailhook adapter, and what it's going to do is it's going to go in here after you clean out this hole. Now inside this hole there's going to be flashing. Now we've already done it on this one, but here you might be able to see it. There's little bits of plastic flashing sticking into the hole, and what that's going to do is that's going to create something that's going to bind up on the adapter. These holes are actually tapered. They're not a straight hole. So our adapter is tapered to match the hole. It's a part of the injection molding process. It's called draft. We machine this to match the draft, so it's going to be a really tight fit. But you got to make sure and get any excess material out of the way so that it can press in. So here we have pushed in our tailhook adapter, and we're getting ready to drill it. And what you do is the threaded metal inserts that are molded into the Kriss factory arm here, you're going to use that as a guide for your drill. Now there's one on each side and they are directly across from one another. The tricky part, and the reason that we drill and pin first is before we cut this off, is because this and this is the same level. So we actually prop it up on something like this, and we can hold it down here to be able to drill it here. Now the rest of the arm here gets thicker, so it's not level. You want to be able to drill straight through that hole and come out straight in the middle of that hole. Now the reason that we aren't using the set screws here is for a couple of reasons. One, the set screw works fine when it's worked in conjunction with the lower arm using the other half here. Those 2 pins is what keeps it from rotating. The set screws are merely there to keep it from sliding in and out. Well, now we're only going to have one and not the other on here. So now those set screws have to try to keep the rotational forces from moving too, and it's just not adequate enough. So we're pinning it, and to do that we're using our set screw holes there as a guide to do it. One other reason I don't use the set screws is this right here is actually the metal insert out of one of those. I have seen where set screws were over tightened and that actually broke out of the plastic. So if you start getting your adapter rotating and you try to tighten up the screws, you can actually break your stock like this, and that comes out. So that's why we drill and pin it. I'm sure a lot of you will wonder, and that's why. So drill and pin, it's in there, it's not moving. So here, as you can see, we've drilled all the way through this one. You can see the drill bit passing through. You've got an even amount of metal showing around that hole and an even amount of metal showing around that hole. The hole drilled straight through both sides. And once you get to this point, you want to make sure that you don't have any burrs from drilling on either side. You can file it or sand it down, and you're ready to pin it in place. Here you can, this is the pin that comes with the adapter, and this is what you'll be putting in the hole. After we've drilled it, we just press it into this hole. You can drive it in with a hammer or whatever. It won't come all the way out to the other side, but it does go all the way through the adapter into the bushing on the other side, so that's safe. I mean, you can center it up if you want to, but where it ends up is going to be fine. Once it's pinned in place, now you're ready to cut it. So what you'll do is you can take a saw. When you're getting ready to cut this, you want to cut it right where this fin part meets the round part. You cut it across there, and to avoid, this is the piece that you're keeping, so to avoid any damage here, you can clamp it or do whatever you want to this end. You know, if you want to put it in a vise or, you know, cut anything up on this side, it's fine. It's going to all get thrown away. Once you cut it, you want to be careful not to hit the adapter. I usually start from this side and then cut my way down. And the way it ends up is like this. You know, don't be afraid to leave a little bit of material. We cut this one pretty close, but we've cut a whole bunch of them. It's easier to file down the little extra than once you cut it out, there's no putting it back. So it ends up just a rough cut like that. Then you can take a file or a sander or something and then smooth it up. Just like that. And we'll show these steps too. So basically, this is a finished product now. It's pinned, it's cut, it's sanded. This is pinned and cut but not sanded. Here it is pinned and not cut. And of course, the way we started, where it's not even pinned yet. This one's not drilled either. So now that you've got your completed adapter mounted into your arm, you're ready to install it. So now removing the factory sling swivel that's back here is quite a job. There's other video tutorials on YouTube on how to do that. You have to drill a rivet and take the gun apart to be able to pull that off. So I'm going to leave that to other people to tell you how to do it. But once you get that off and you've completed your arm, now it's just a matter of sticking this in, inserting your pin, and then deciding if you need this to fold out to the right or left. Slide this over your adapter, get it square, and then tighten your 2 screws up. And once you do all that, it's done. You're ready to go shooting. So here you can see the plastic flashing sticking up inside the hole. This is what you want to sand down and remove with an X-Acto knife or sandpaper, just anything that knocked that plastic down. Here you can see where we've already done it, and now it's a smooth surface. This is going to allow the adapter to seat fully. Now if you're worried about the alignment hitting all the way across, you can drill about halfway through from one side, then drill the other side, and then just make your drill bit pass all the way through.